Hey there, swim fans! Welcome to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday, and on today's episode, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you should swim all the strokes every single time you do a swim workout. If you're not familiar with the 4 competitive strokes, we're going to talk about them: butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. We'll show you how you can get started. If you're used to swimming only freestyle, the front crawl, in all of your workouts, we'll have an example IMX themed workout so you can start to incorporate a little bit of backstroke, breaststroke, even butterfly. Nah, forget about it. No butterfly. How to incorporate backstroke, breaststroke, some kicking, and some drills into your swim routine so that you can become the best swimmer possible. Now, what are the 4 competitive strokes? When we're talking about swimming every single stroke, we're talking about butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and of course, freestyle. Most swimmers will do a majority of their training in freestyle. Front crawl, you're on your stomach, it's the most efficient, it is the fastest, and you can do it for the longest period of time. So there's no doubt that when you learn how to swim, that is the first stroke that you learn, and it's a majority of time spent doing freestyle for most swimmers out there. Now, incorporating some of these strokes can have a lot of huge benefits for you. The first one being it improves your feel of the water. So if you're thinking to yourself, what is the feel of the water? What does that even mean? It doesn't sound like a tangible thing. It is a little bit fluffy, but if you ask any swimmer, they'll tell you that there is a true feel of the water, and that is how your body engages with the water. Specifically, we're talking about the way you catch the water and how efficiently your body is moving through the water. And if you swim on any kind of regular basis, if you swim every day or every other day, or at least 2 times per week, you start to develop this feel of the water. And by swimming all the different strokes, because each stroke you pull the water in a little bit different ways, your body position is a little bit different, your timing is different, you engage different muscles, and so because of all of those reasons, you're going to improve your feel of the water, therefore improving your other strokes. It'll improve your freestyle technique, right? We talked about your catch, your body position. Your body position is the way that you're actually situated in the water, so your eyes are looking at the bottom. In freestyle, you're 180 degrees reverse in backstroke, and even though the mechanics of pulling underneath the water are pretty similar with an early vertical forearm and really trying to catch the water in any stroke that you swim, the way you do it is different in each of the 4 strokes, and because of that, it will improve your feel of the water, and that'll improve your freestyle technique as well. So the second point is that by working on your non-dominant stroke, so for most people, freestyle is their dominant stroke, and by working on your non-dominant, so backstroke, breaststroke, even butterfly, you will actually improve your freestyle technique. And when we're talking about technique, we're specifically talking about, because of that improved feel of the water, it's going to enhance your catch. So your pull technique is actually going to get better because you have better awareness in the water from training all these different strokes. And so now when you go to freestyle, which is the stroke technique that you're going to be performing most of your workout, even if you incorporate all the strokes, you're still going to do a majority of your training in freestyle. And because of that, your technique will improve, your catch will get stronger, your early vertical forearm, EVF, which I'll link another Whiteboard Wednesday where I talked about what EVF is and how you can improve it in the description below. But basically, you will improve your freestyle technique, and this applies conversely for every other stroke. So let's say you swim most of your time is doing breaststroke. If you swim more backstroke and freestyle, your breaststroke will actually improve as well. Now, of course, there's a lot of other variables in terms of intensity, frequency, workout structure that factor into all of that, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But by working on all the strokes, you will improve your feel of the water, which will improve your freestyle technique. And what I believe is the strongest reason why you should train all the strokes is because it will enhance your endurance. You're going to be able to develop an aerobic capacity differently by engaging all these different muscle groups and energy systems for each stroke independently and when you put them together. So for example, when you swim, you use different muscle groups for each of the strokes at different timings of the stroke. So we're talking about your core, your glutes, your lats, your hamstrings, your hip flexors. All of these muscles and these compound movements that we can call them, you know, from the gym, we talk about compound movements. Doing a pull-up engages more than just one muscle, right? You're engaging your lats and your biceps. In swimming, it's the same thing. That's why swimming is such a great form of physical fitness, because you're engaging so many different muscles. On top of that, when you train different strokes at different timings, and not only that, but you factor in the breathing. You might breathe every 2 or 3 strokes, and the timing of the breath meeting the timing of the muscle engagement and the muscle firing is different for each of the strokes. And because of that, if you train some percentage of each of these strokes in addition to the freestyle training that you're already doing, you will yield an improvement in endurance, and your aerobic capacity will therefore improve. And this is a great way to break out of a plateau. So for example, if you train the same workout, you do the same thing over and over and over, your body is going to plateau. When you train the individual medley, the backstroke, the breaststroke, you do kicking, you do drills, and you engage and build that feel of the water, you're actually going to break out of a plateau because you're doing something different with your body, and you're creating that muscle confusion that's going to help you continue to improve and to continue to see progress. Now, it prevents injury. What do I mean by injury? So swimming, it is a great physical form of fitness, but there is a lot of repetitive nature to it. So unlike running, where the repetitive nature is the high impact of your legs and your feet hitting the ground every single time you run, in swimming, we have a lot of shoulder rotation, right? You're moving your arm, doing the same motion over and over and over, tens of thousands of times where you're moving your arm in the exact same way, right? So we can have some shoulder issues. Now, obviously, the best way to combat this is by having really good technique. Focusing on your technique is the #1 step to reduce injury. However, by doing some of the other strokes, you can have a well-balanced muscle system around the supporting regions of your shoulder. So what I'm talking about specifically is doing backstroke in addition to freestyle, because in freestyle, you have this similar forward rotation, and in backstroke, you open up your shoulder in the reverse. You can still get overuse problems with backstroke, just like you could in freestyle, but by giving your muscles a break and really stretching them out in different ways by doing the different strokes can help prevent injury. I'm also going to make a note, check out the Whiteboard Wednesday I did on all the different dryland activities that you can do out of the water to strengthen the surrounding muscles that you're less likely to hurt yourself in the pool. Now, the 5th reason is it's more fun. Isn't that why we're swimming? Swimming is fun, period. Now, we can make it even more fun by having more variety and incorporating these different strokes. So when you engage the mind as well as the body, I believe that swimming is much more fun. If you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments. But I believe that by doing different things and varying your training by speed, by stroke type, by intensity, all of that makes it a lot more fun. And doing the same freestyle over and over and over is not really fun. Doing, some backstrokes, some breaststrokes, some IM training, some kicking, some underwater stuff, equipment, no equipment, it makes it so much more interesting. In most other sports and forms of physical fitness, you don't have the opportunity to engage your body and your mind at the same time in such a diverse way every single time you go and do a workout. When you swim, you have the opportunity to improve in a number of different ways. So you can improve your freestyle technique, you can improve your speed, you can improve your backstroke speed, your backstroke technique, your underwater dolphin kick. You can improve how many strokes per length you take. There's so many different variations within each of the strokes, and by having a new stroke to work on, it makes it more interesting, because let's say you've plateaued in freestyle. Now you have the opportunity, hey, let's work on our backstroke. I'm gonna make it better technique, more efficient, and it's overall just way more fun to train all the strokes. It's even more fun than smashing the like button on this video. So if you haven't already hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. Now, let's talk about how to get started. So it's great, I understand you've sold me on the benefits of doing all the strokes. How do you get started? #1 is to start small. Start in the beginner level. Do 25s or 50s of the other strokes. If you're doing 100% of your training in freestyle front crawl, totally fine. If you want to get started incorporating, you don't need to do an entire workout backstroke or breaststroke. Start out with short distances, 25s or 50s, less than 10%, less than 5% of your entire workout can be non-freestyle if you're used to doing freestyle the entire thing. Meaning, if you do a 2,000 meter workout, 10% of that is 200 meters. I'm not even telling you to do that much. Do less, do 5%. Do 100 meters broken up by 25s or 50s of some backstroke. And you might say, well, I'm not very good at backstroke, I'm not comfortable. The only way you can improve that is by getting started and actually starting to practice the stroke, doing a 25 at a time. Start small. Next, start with backstroke and breaststroke. So a lot of times people think, oh, the butterfly looks cool. Michael Phelps looks like a legend. He's awesome. He's the greatest of all time in the butterfly, yes, but it took years to develop that. And so if you haven't done any stroke training, I recommend you start with backstroke and breaststroke. Backstroke, especially if you're able to stay on your back, keep your head up, look at the ceiling or sky. It's a much easier way to get into it, and it takes less energy than, say, butterfly, and less technical skill to master. So start with backstroke and breaststroke. Next, mix in freestyle with the strokes. So for example, instead of doing hundreds, 100-meter distances of backstroke or breaststroke, mix it in. So you go 25 backstroke, 25 freestyle. Let's say you do a set of 4 50s, you'll go 25 backstroke, 25 freestyle. That way you're still getting the aerobic benefit of training the different strokes. You get to practice it for a short period of time like a 25, but it's not going to completely tax your body and make you so uncomfortable because you're only doing a 25 at a time. Then you can mix in the freestyle afterwards. Next, I recommend doing frim. Frim stands for Freestyle IM. This is a great way to incorporate your freestyle with your stroke training without having to do any butterfly at all. Isn't that awesome? So you'll go, the way this works, let's say you do a 100. It's like doing a 100 individual medley where you do all the strokes, but you don't do any butterfly. You start out with freestyle, then you go backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. Very similar to what you would do in an individual medley, but you swap the butterfly for freestyle. So if you were to do 100 frim, 100 freestyle M, you go 25 free, 25 back, 25 breast, 25 freestyle. Same concept applies for doing 200s or 400s or any other distance. And finally, set a goal to make 10 to 20% of your workout non-freestyle, meaning again, if you do a 2,000 meter workout, we're looking at 200 meters to 400 meters non-freestyle. That could even be kick, that could be side stroke, could be backstroke, any of the strokes. Just try and have that variation. Now here's the IMX themed workout, and I should note that this is more of an intro IMX themed workout. A true IMX would incorporate more strokes and individual medley in the main set. But because we're just getting started, let's talk about this workout. It's a 2,000 meter workout. You got a warm up, preset, main set, and cool down. Now the warm up, pretty standard. We're gonna start with a 300 freestyle, stretch it out nice and easy. Then we're gonna go 4 50s, where we go backstroke on the first 25, freestyle on the second 25. You can do this type of a set in a short course 25 meter, 25 yard pool, or in a 50 meter pool. All you have to do is just rotate from backstroke to freestyle in the middle of the pool. And you can even do the reverse. You can go 25 freestyle, 25 backstroke. Again, applying this rule of how to get started, start out small, 25s, and mix it with freestyle so it's not completely doing something that you're not used to. The preset, we're gonna go 425s drill, and we're gonna do the fist drill. I love it. You swim with your hand in a fist, really engages the forearm, works on that early vertical forearm that's also linked in the description. So we're gonna do 425s drill, then we're gonna do a 200 frim. Remember, we talked about frim, it's freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, free. So in this example, we're gonna go a 50 free, 50 back, 50 breast, 50 freestyle. And after that, we're gonna go into the main set, which is 10 100s freestyle, at threshold. Threshold means like a short rest, so maybe you're only getting 10 seconds rest per. This is really an aerobic themed workout. If you're a triathlete, open water swimmer, distance swimmer, or fitness swimmer, doing 10 100s, a 1,000 yard or 1,000 meter block is a great way to get that little bit of aerobic capacity developed. And then the cool down, we're gonna go 4 50s breaststroke, freestyle. So again, we're splitting like we did in the warm-up. We're gonna split with a different stroke. In the warm-up, we did backstroke, and in the cool-down, we are going to do some breaststroke. Again, if you're not comfortable doing backstroke or breaststroke or butterfly, no problem. Just do what you are comfortable with, even if it is for a 25, if it's only backstroke, if it's only breaststroke. It doesn't matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everyone on the couch. It should be noted that we do have a couch to 1K training plan, which I guess we'll link in the description below. So we do have a plan to go from couch to 1K, 1 kilometer swim over a period, I believe 6 weeks. So check that out in the description. But that's the overview of a 2,000 meter workout. 15% of this workout was non-freestyle. And I get asked all the time, what is the proper workout structure? Like how much of the workout should be freestyle versus kicking versus drilling? And I gave a basic example. Now this varies greatly based on the type of swimmer, the goal of the swimmer, and where you are in the season, because at certain points in the season, you might want to do more drills versus more freestyle aerobic training. But here's an overview. So about 20% I recommend should be strokes. This is non-freestyle. This could be individual medley. It could be stroke training only. So you go 450s breaststroke or 1050s breaststroke, something like that. About 10% should be some sort of a technical drill. So it could be like the 425s drill set that we had here, or it could be a stroke specific technique focus set where you are swimming maybe, 5 100s freestyle, but you're focusing on a very, very specific element of the stroke and you're swimming it a little bit different than you normally would for the sake of improving the technique. And then about 10% should be kick. Kick would mean you're not using your arms at all. I recommend fast kicking in streamline, could be underwater kicking, and 10% again is sort of like an average. Sometimes maybe you want to hit 20 or 30 or 40% of the total volume could be kick, depends on the season and what your goals are. And finally, in this scenario, 60% is freestyle. So even when we incorporate all this stroke training, drills, kicking, a majority is still going to be freestyle. But in this 40% segment, and specifically this 20% segment, you can start to see the benefit of applying on a daily basis all the different strokes. We talked about it. Improves your feel of the water. It'll improve your technique. It'll enhance your aerobic capacity. And for me, it will be the most fun for you guys to leave in the comments how much freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly you guys do in your workouts. Again, thanks for watching Whiteboard Wednesday. Be sure you're subscribed, like this video, share it with all your friends, and we'll catch you guys next time. Happy swimming!